Beckwith. I'm with the University of Ottawa Laboratory for Paleoclimatology and Carleton University Department of Geography and Environmental Studies. There's a chapter in Peter Wadhams' book. Peter Wadhams is my climate hero. His book, A Farewell to Ice, highly recommended. Tell your library to get a copy. Read it, study it, and learn from it. So I'm going to talk about his book, Chapter 9. Basically, Arctic methane. A catastrophe. In the making. Okay, that's 34 times that of CO2. This is over 100 years. 86 times CO2 over 20 years. And greater than 150 times in a few years. Okay, so molecule by molecule, CO2, which we talk about a lot, is just can't cut it with methane. It's CO2 supercharged. Okay, so it's in this terrestrial permafrost, but there's very there's vast, shallow continental shelves underneath the ocean. Water's very up to, basically most of it in the range 50 to 100 meters. The largest of them is the Eastern Siberian Arctic Shelf. 75% of this vast area, I think it's 2.1 million square kilometers or something, 75% of that 2.1 million square kilometers is 40 meters or less.
Good morning. Welcome to Practicing Talking, episode 104. It's Friday at Dealism, but it's kind of dark today. It's like I'm looking at global methane. It's freaked me out a bit. Oh well. That guy was really interesting. Let's look at some other stuff.
But let's go to the Arctic. This is a view of the polar ice cap in late summer when it's at its minimum in late summer of 1980. Here's one data point just a few years later in 2007. And lest you think I'm cooking the data, here is the record where each color represents a different month of the year, late summer being the lowest. And recently, scientists began to realize that they could no longer plot the decline of ice in a linear manner because it was behaving in an exponential manner. The Arctic sea ice is decaying exponentially, and it may disappear in summer, late summer completely as soon as next year. Sometime between next year and 2020 is most likely, we believe. Returning to the Arctic region, I want to point your attention to that area, a submerged shelf off of Siberia that is approximately 70 meters, about 200 feet below water. During ice ages past, it was above water, and there was abundant life there at times. And now that life is decomposed under the sediments of that East Siberian Arctic shelf and has turned into something else. Here's another view, a map view of the East Siberian Arctic shelf. And as you'll read the caption, it says that shallow ledge of submerged sea shelf is estimated to contain between 500 and 5,000 gigatons, billion tons of methane, a huge amount. To give you a sense of the magnitude, there are approximately 5 gigatons of methane in the atmosphere of Earth today. And we are talking about from hundreds to thousands of times that amount contained in that one shallow ledge. What you're seeing on this slide is the release of methane from one of several hundred plumes that were discovered when explorations went up there in 2007. And the notation that methane is approximately 86 times as powerful a greenhouse gas as CO2. Now, you will see variation in that number for the following reason. When the methane is emitted, it's estimated to be above 150 times as powerful a greenhouse gas as CO2. Over 150 times as powerful. However, the methane begins to decay when it's exposed to air, and it becomes H2O and CO2. So it decays to a less impactful form of a greenhouse gas, carbon dioxide, but it does so slowly. So the 86 number is the number I've seen over a 20-year period. That number is represented as approximately 23 over a 100-year period. That is, during the first year, it's extremely dangerous, and it becomes less dangerous over time. Now, watch the methane. We're not getting sound from this slide, unfortunately. Thank you. Those were students in Alaska whose teacher had brought them out on a frozen lake, because it happens in lakes as well. The sediments of the lake, which contain organic material, the organic material, when it's digested in an anaerobic environment, becomes methane instead of CO2.
Yeah, I had to get that one a little short because it kind of freaked me out too much. It's like, holy moly, I don't know where it goes from there. But I'll put the link in the comments below, so if you want to watch, you can. This next thing, I think that this guy's crazy, but it probably started from...
Okay, now this is going to be a very frightening video, and I would sincerely ask you, if you're prone to depression, don't watch this. But if you want to know what's going to be happening to our planet, then you can sit through this video. But seriously, if you have mental health issues, don't watch this. This can be too much even for a healthy person to deal with. Because of the fake polar vortex created by the Gakona HAARP was really warm. It was something like 2 degrees centigrade above normal. In fact, the entire Arctic was far above normal, roughly 2 degrees, looking at their color scale.
Yeah, it's the Gakona HAARP that I chose to not believe in. I mean, I'm doing some research now, but not much because it freaks me out too much. This is really dodgy, scary stuff. I think because the Gakona HAARP, HAARP, it's a weird, it stands for something military. And he's suggesting that they've done some evil things to the atmosphere somehow. And I'm trying to ignore the possibility that it's true. But I will post the link so you guys can check that one out yourself, because I'm too chicken to look.